What's up, everybody? Bert Newcomb here. The other day, I had a meeting with our utility board. I had some questions I asked them. They didn't really get me too many answers. They did answer a little bit, but not an awful lot, not enough to make me happy. I think our utility board should be privatized. I do not like politics being in my power provider. You know, a lot of people have a lot of problems with our utility company. But go ahead and check the rest of this video out and let me know what you think in the comments below about our utility provider, if you like them, if you dislike them, if I should ask them more questions, things like that. But here's the video from our meeting along with a little bit more commentary. Y'all enjoy.
Now we move to action items. Mr. Newcomb has showed up. Good morning, Mr. Newcomb.
Yeah, so I'm just here as a really concerned citizen about my utility bills.
Sure. You got 5 minutes.
Okay.
Got you on the clock. Okay.
So I have a house here at 1728 Linwood, which I use substantially more power at than either of these two houses, and I'm just concerned about how these power bills are formed. So what I want to know is, I understand that we buy an abundance of power from MEAG that we're responsible for buying as per contract we signed a long time ago. How much power do we actually use, and how do we store that leftover power, and how do we use that, and who accounts for it?
Okay, go ahead. Well, we'll get.
My biggest question here is, you're the manager of the city. The finance guy was also in the room. How do you not know your overhead of your business? That'd be like somebody calling me asking how much a house is, and I say, hey, I'll let you know in 30 days. Another thing, how do you not know how that's accounted for? How can you not answer that question off the top of your head? That right there is a problem to me.
The answers.
Why are we not being, like some of these bills I'm being billed for, like let's see, this bill I'm billed one thing for 29 days and one day for 31 days. So why do we not have each thing as each number of days in the month? Do we really have 3 people who have to read meters? Is that really 3 jobs? I mean, what, the same person who reads your power can't read your gas and your water as well at the same time? Why are we paying a sewer fee, and a water runoff fee, when from my understanding that's pretty much the exact same thing? A better question for me to ask is, how long have people been paying for our sewer, and how has that money been applied? Because we have a massive sewer problem. They're working on fixing that, I know. But even this week, on Monday, we had a sewage overspill into the Flint. If we've been paying for our sewer bill and we're essentially paying for it twice now with the water runoff fee, how has that money in the past been applied? This next topic is something that really concerns me. Why is the power bill in our community more than their rent and their mortgage? Many people in this community, they have their power bill is substantially more than their mortgage. I just don't understand how that's possible. Like, you take my parents' house, for instance. They are on Georgia Power. Their house is 5,000 square foot, built 2 years before mine, has 3 air conditioning units, and has 2 stories. And when my brother was still living there, the power was being used all the time. My dad works from home. My mom's home a lot. They use more power than me every single month in an 1,800 square foot, 1-story house with 1 power unit. That was a mistake. My parents actually use less power than me. We both have single pane windows. My electrical system has been updated. Theirs has not. Our utilities are very outdated, from what I've been told, and I want to know how much power is being sent through our power lines and how much is actually arriving at the house. So I feel like, we probably are losing some power somehow in our power grid, and I'd like to know how we can get rid of that issue and how much is lost in the transfer. I'd also like to know how much we're using in our community versus communities of similar sizes. I'd also like to know, why did the government get involved in the utility business at all. It just seems to me that we should keep it all privatized because, like my parents are on Georgia Power. Georgia Power's private. Their bill is substantially less than mine every month. I just don't understand how we can have more utility bill at a house that's larger with 3 air conditioning units, 2 stories, than a house that is 1,800 square foot. And I mean, like this house right here, I've already showed you. My house on Linwood, I use substantially more power at during a make-ready remodel than either my house on Regalwood or 17th. I mean, these two do have power bills on, sure. I mean, we flip lights on and off when we're showing them to tenants, but I make sure the power is off every single afternoon. So I just find it absolutely impossible to use 1,011 kilowatts and 732 kilowatts when the house at Linwood that I've been remodeling only used 189 kilowatts. How do you feel when people are choosing other areas and neighborhoods strictly because of their utility bills? Both tenants, buyers, and sellers even, they move out of neighborhoods with just Albany Utilities into areas with Georgia Power and other utility providers strictly because they're scared of what their utility bills are. So what are y'all going to do when people keep moving away from utility bills just due to y'all's extravagant prices?
This is a concern that I hear all the time. People talk about living in any other county but Dougherty County, and one of those reasons that they always bring up are the utility rates. How should someone's mortgage or rent be less than their utility bill? That is not right to me.
So I understand that we have a large calcium built up. So with water heaters, we have a top element and a bottom element. And so what happens is it keeps cooling. So the bottom element the top element you can change pretty easily, but the bottom element is pretty difficult to change. And so I understand, from experience, when it keeps heating, you basically get this calcium built up, and so the water heater is not able to get to the right temperature that it's set for because of the calcium built up. And how can we get rid of that? Basically, it keeps warming. What other communities are a part of MEAC, and how is their power usage compared to ours versus per capita, like that? And that's about it.
Luke, thank you. We'll try to get you answers to those questions. Anybody have any questions for Mr. Newcomb? Mr. Battle.
Mr. Newcomb, thank you for coming. I understand your feelings on
I'd be interested to know what was being said right there.
the dates. We definitely need to come up with an answer as to why they're not the exact dates. Yeah, that's definitely a good question. Thank you for coming.
Yeah. Have you got a audit done?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Regalwood?
Absolutely.
Okay. Mr. Deal?
Well, according to some information that I've recently received, City of Albany is less expensive than Georgia Power.
Then why is everybody always complaining about how high their power and their utility bill is? I mean, that's even a platform that the mayor ran on, was against the utility prices.
I don't know if people get confused because we have a bill that includes garbage pickup. There are other things besides water. There are other things besides the utility that's on our every month bill. But I showed that Albany is charging like 0.1305 per kilowatt hour, and Georgia Power is charging 0.1481, which is considerably more. But those are my thoughts. I think we're probably more in line than people realize.
Well, I understand, about the price. The price really is not my major concern is how much is being used. I just find it absolutely impossible that a house with one light on uses, 1,000 kilowatts of power in a month. And one that's being made ready and has people there all day long uses 189 kilowatts. It's just, my math there is a little different. I've talked to other people in the community. One person had a power bill that was over 5,500 kilowatts used in a month, and they had another power bill that was 1,200 kilowatts. Guess which one was more expensive? You'd think the one with 5,500 kilowatts, but it was actually the one with 1,200 kilowatts, which that's 5,500 is 5 times more, so it doesn't really make sense on my math.
And I understand that. I recently had to sell my soul to the devil to get a new heating and cooling system. The prices have gone up so much, but the one that in my house was 1994. And so the new one, my bill, my bill has gone down considerably. So I don't know, there are just a lot of variables that are involved in this. And I'm sorry you're having that problem, but hopefully you have had the audit done. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Before I ever came in front of the board.
Yeah. Well, maybe we should look into that. I don't know the answer.
You've had multiple different articles and different, news providers. One was done 11/16/22. A guy was being, he said he was being overcharged. And it's just a lot of people within the community that are very unhappy with their utility providers, and they move to other communities strictly because of the utility provider. So, signals a problem to me.
Understand.
Mr. Rambo.
Yes, Mr. Newcomb, I appreciate you coming out this morning. And I have heard from numerous people, about concerns of their bill. Hopefully, we can all be educated to a point where we certainly understand how the bill is composed and what all factors go into that. I would like to ask, staff, if the AMI system would be able to give Mr. Newcomb a better understanding in real time of what's going on, and maybe if we could briefly tell him how that would work and how we hope that will help him to understand his bill moving forward.
Respond to that. Yes, a couple things that he mentioned that will be addressed with the AMI. One is the read dates. We have people that read meters now, so it's difficult to hit the same date every time on the same month. That's just, and with the shortage of people we have, that's just going to be impossible. You're going to have a read date somewhere between 29 and 31, 32 days sometimes.
Once again, how many meter readers does it take to read this stuff?
But again, the read date doesn't have anything to do with consumption, except that you have more consumption when you have more days and less consumption when you have less days.
That sounds a little bit like a double negative to me. Am I the only one who heard him say it does matter and that it doesn't matter? Let me know your thoughts.
But we will not bill you for anything you don't consume. But the AMI meters will allow us to automatically read those meters, so now we can hit a target date every time because we automated.
When do we expect we can have everybody in the community on an AMI meter?
We have about a 2-year rollout plan to get all the meters changed out.
And how is that? How are we choosing the areas to hit? I guess we're hitting like neighborhoods first, or?
All right, just depends on the contractors and the rollout plan, but the goal is to cover everybody in the city.
Anything else, Mr. Rambo?
No, that's it.
Okay, Mr. Newcomb, appreciate you coming.
Thank you.
We'll get you. Did you have those questions, or do you want us to just get them out of the minutes? Do you have it?
And make a copy.
I can email them to you.
Okay, that'd be great.
All right.
That way we can respond.
Do you have Ms. Williams' email address?
Can we get CC'd in that?
Okay, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll get you an answer. Can we get him an answer in 30 days?
Yes.
Okay. We'll get you an answer in 30 days, and all the members of the utility board will get a copy of the response, if that's okay.
Thank you.
Can we get the addresses of all the properties that you're talking about?
I mean, take into account, this guy is the manager. He has access to the whole system. At least I hope he does, considering he's the manager. But who knows? He doesn't even know how much power he buys and how much power he uses.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially-
909/17, my
No,
power.
no, just provide them all with that list. Particularly the one that had the 5,500 kilowatt usage and the 1,400 where the 55 costs less than the 1,400.
Can't give you that.
He said that's what somebody told him.
No, that's the one I saw.
Do you know what the address is?
I'm not at liberty to share that.
Okay, well, cool. Yeah, because, I like to see that myself.
Yes, me too.
For the record, I did personally see that bill. That was a real bill, and he should have access to the system to find out who it was. He should have access to see how much every single one of our bills and how much every single one of our usages are. In ending, I really and truly feel that our prices and on our utilities are astronomically too high and unfair for our residents. I really and truly feel that we need to get the government out of our utility provider. We need to have more than one choice. I truly believe that we should be privatized because I think that would solve a lot of our problems here. I really do truly feel that way. I feel like our community should band together to tell the leaders of our community that we want a new power provider. We need to get the politics out of our utilities. I really and truly feel like that would solve a lot of our problems. Let me know, do you think that would solve our problems? Do you want governments in or out of our utility providers? Let me know in the comments.